I want to see that energy when you step in here June 5th with me. Just answer the question.
You got it, bro.
Man, George Kambosos don't even believe George Kambosos. That's why Bill Haney and Devin Haney is over there laughing like that. He knows that shit. He knows it. This man didn't want to go nowhere near this fight, but just didn't have a choice at the end of the day. And you want to know what's interesting? All of a sudden, he's acting like he could have fought anybody and he could have fought this person, but he was choosing to fight the best to give us the best fights and all that bullshit. Man, don't nobody believe that crap. We know what time it is. War had to break out for this fight to get made. People had to start dying for this fight to get made. That's how drastic it is, and that's how bad it is in this situation when it comes to these young fighters trying to get these fights with these so-called champions at the end of the day. Talked all that emperor crap, but didn't walk or talk like it. Just talked a whole bunch of shit at the end of the day, talking about checking contracts and making sure signatures is not fake. Nobody bought that shit. It didn't do nothing but turn off the little bit of fans that he had left. And after Devin Haney obliterated his ass, he ain't gonna have nobody left. I don't know where his so-called fans came from in the first fucking place. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that I noticed. It's funny to me how nobody seems to value this fight until the fight was made. The fight get made, and then all of a sudden, people saying this is the best fight in boxing that can be made. They can't wait to see this fight. All of a sudden, they recognize that Devin Haney is a real threat. Kambosos is not taking any easy fights because he's taking on Devin Haney. Where was all this talk when y'all was calling him pillow-fisted and he don't deserve a shot and this, that, and the third? All of a sudden, when the fight get made, everybody's excited. Everybody got enthusiasm. Everybody see that this is one of the best fights in boxing that can be made. That Devin Haney is a real threat out here. He's a tough competitor. It's not going to be an easy fight. You know, I don't know if I would have picked this fight. All this talk at the end of the day. Well, where was that enthusiasm when people was just trying to get the fight made? Nobody wanted to see it. But now all of a sudden the fight get made and everybody values the fucking fight. Everybody see how good this is for boxing, how exciting it is. Oh, we're going to have an undisputed champion finally, when that's all people were talking about. We want to see undisputed. You know, Mauricio Suleiman fucked it up with this whole franchise thing. But once again, boxing public called out the franchise thing. It's fucked up. It's stupid. It's just a way to duck certain fighters at the end of the day. This shit is not matching up. It's only fucking things up, you know? And that's what people were saying about franchise champion. But people didn't care. You want to know why people didn't care? Because the right kind of people had the franchise title. The right kind of people that they wanted protected, the right kind of people who they wanted to be able to duck and do whatever the hell they want. That's why people went along with it. Just like when people go along with ducking, it's because it's the right person that they want to go along with the ducking. You know, they don't mind if this person ducks, but they'll definitely say something if it's a fighter that they don't favor or that they think don't get a shot. They don't want them to have no easy fights. They don't want them to have no easy nothing at the end of the day. But yet you got franchise champion out here. You got fighters ducking out here, and everybody's okay with the shit until the duck get caught. And then when the duck get caught, then people realize, oh, this fight is great. This fight is this. The fight has always been that. That's something that fight fans have always been saying. And you should have always wanted an undisputed championship. So take note of everybody who has something against this fight, who has something to say, who has something to detract from Devin Haney, and take a good look at them, because they are not boxing fans. Who would not want a undisputed lightweight champion? Why wouldn't you want to see that? Why wouldn't you want that solved? Why wouldn't you want to put a conclusion to this whole thing? Why? Why? What were you on? Because you wasn't on boxing. So don't say you like the sport if you was against this fight in the first place. All of them. Take note of all of them that said it. You are anti-boxing. So if you wasn't about boxing by not wanting to see this fight, then what tip was you on? What tip was you on? Yes, it's a good fight to be made. A more exciting fight. This fight gonna have more eyes on it than Lomachenko versus Kambosos. You know? And another good thing, at least at the end of the day, he does fight Vasily Lomachenko. Because the other thing that people are going to be talking about is, yeah, he might be undisputed, but you still got Lomachenko out there. Then that'll be the next conversation. Well, the good thing about this deal, we ain't got to worry about it, because that'll wrap all that up too. Since I guess Devin Haney can't get a shot at Vasily Lomachenko while being a mandatory. Let's see if he can get a shot at Vasily Lomachenko when he's the undisputed champion. Then it shouldn't be no excuses there. But no, I definitely look forward to the fight, you know. And if anything I have to say about the press conference, you know how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words? In that case, this picture says it all. Look at that man's face. He don't want this shit. This shit did not turn out how he wanted it to be. And part of that reason why is the same shit he said about Teofimo Lopez. Talking about the belts is his curse, and Teofimo Lopez switched up as soon as he beat Vasily Lomachenko. Well, as soon as George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, his ass switched up. And if you ask me, he was worse than Teofimo Lopez. The way this cat's been acting and the way the fuck he's been talking, you know what I'm saying? His head got entirely too big for his britches, and his body frame is too small to walk around with a head that big. You're liable to get your neck snapped, if you ask me, at the end of the day. But it's a good thing. It's good for boxing. I look forward to the fight. I look forward to seeing George Kambosos obliterated. If not, I look to see George Kambosos pull off an upset. Either way, it's going to be exciting times. And either way, you're going to get a conclusion to the whole undisputed thing. So there's nothing left to talk about with nobody. And that's the beautiful thing about this story. You know, no matter how it ends, you're going to come up with an undisputed champion no matter what. And the beautiful thing about being undisputed is nobody can say anything because it is without argument. It is without argument who will be the best lightweight fighter in boxing. And that's something that everybody should have wanted at the end of the day. There should have been no reason why you want anything different. No reason. Just like it should have been no reason to have to be able to duck your mandatory and give up a belt for a franchise destination, which is not even a belt. Franchise champion, which is not recognized by no other sanctioning bodies. It just didn't make no sense at the end of the day, other than to give people a pass to duck legitimately. You know, and that's one of the things that drove boxing into the dirt. The fact that we can't get the fights that we want to see and all this other stuff. The franchise champion was simply created, at least under the pretenses in which it was supposed to be created, is to make sure that big fights don't get held up for little fights. Now, if they actually stuck to that format, then it would kind of work. You could kind of understand it. But instead, it was the opposite. Okay? The franchise champion was used to avoid. The franchise champion was used to avoid big fights. Well, big fights when it comes to certain fighters. But anyways, I look forward to the fight. Tell me what you think of the press conference. Tell me what you think you're going to see in the upcoming bout. Can Devin Haney beat Kambosos to the point that there will be no reason for a rematch? If I was Devin Haney, that's exactly what I would shoot for. Because I think he's more than capable of turning this kid into a highlight reel. But then again, that's just my thoughts on the shit. Leave yours in the comment section. Bruce Vane, I'm out.
I want to see that energy when you step in here June 5th with me. Just answer the question.
You got it, bro.
Come on, Bill. Answer it for him.